Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly crafting, cooking, and organic gardening videos right here on my YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, I'm teaching you how to take a plain white pair of leggings and using RIT liquid dye to tie-dye them and end up with these really cute leggings that I'm wearing right here. Our friends at RIT have been kind enough to offer up 6 of their more popular liquid dye bottles to one of you lucky winners. So make sure that you continue watching this video tutorial so you can learn all the details on how to enter. So now let's gather up the materials that we need to complete this tie-dye leggings project. What I have here are first of all, a plastic drop cloth to protect my work surface from any splashes or drips. Then you want to get some gloves to protect your hands. I have some rubber bands over here because I'm going to be doing a really random just tie-dye technique. I have some salt here, and the reason I have a cup of salt is because the dye that I'm using is RIT liquid dye. Obviously, before we use it, we definitely want to shake it up. RIT dye also comes in powder form. This stuff is great because you can buy it anywhere, even at your local grocery store, the corner pharmacy, things like that. So I'm going to be using the black today. And I also have some dishwashing soap here. You're just going to need a little drizzle. And then the cup of salt, of course, is because it's also recommended by RIT that if you're using fabrics that are either cotton, rayon, linen, things like that, you want to add 1 cup of salt to your dye bath. That's also going to help you get brighter colors, right? So that the dye can stick to the fabric a little bit better. And then be sure that you read all the instructions on the dye that you purchase, because it also tells you, like if you're using different types of fabrics like silk, wool, or nylon, you add, instead of the salt, you can add the 1 cup of white vinegar to get the same effect, okay? I have an old rag here. This is just to help me clean up any spills or drops as I'm working if I see anything I need to clean up. And then I have just a larger plastic container here, which is where I'm going to add my hot water to. Now the project here is from my previous tutorial that I had, and that was for some pair of leggings that I taught you all how to make. Now here, this is the finished pair of leggings that I'm going to tie-dye in this project, and what I want to tell you about this is that you need to prepare your project before you start dyeing it. And a few things you need to do is, 1, you want to make sure that the fabric has been pre-washed, which of course we did when we made the garment, but in case you didn't pre-wash the fabric, you want to do it before you put it in the dye bath. The reason for that is that the fabric, when it's coming from the manufacturer, can have some different finishes on it that can interfere with the dyeing process, and you don't want anything to hinder the bright colors that you're aiming for, okay? So make sure that you pre-wash your garment or whatever the project is that you're going to be dyeing. Now, another thing is, if you notice, these leggings are wet. They have been soaking in some warm water. You want to make sure that we're adding the project to our dye bath that when it's wet, okay? Because that's just going to help the dye get into the fabric a little bit better. So this has been sitting in some warm water. And for the water that we're going to use in our dye bath, you can use really hot tap water if your water gets that hot. If not, you can just put it in a tea kettle. You can heat it up in the microwave if you use that. I just have it simmering on the stove. RIT dye loves hot water, so stick to around 140 degrees Fahrenheit and that will work fine. So to prepare my pants, my leggings here for the dyeing, I'm going to take it out of here, and I'm just really randomly going to start putting rubber bands any which way I want, wherever I want. You can use different size rubber bands. I'm just going to make like folded pants like this, and then just make some loops around there, and just take your time, do this. You know, you can bundle it up again, whatever you want. Basically, the areas that are going to be tied close together where the dye is not going to be able to get in there, those are going to be lighter colored or white if it really doesn't allow any dye to get in there. Okay, I think I'm happy with this bundle right here. Okay, now we're going to head on over here. First, let me put on my gloves. So when you're adding the amount of water, just keep in mind that the more water you add in ratio to your dye, you're obviously going to get a lighter color. So if you want the color to be more intense, you can add more dye, or if you test it with a piece of fabric and you see that the color is too dark, then you can go ahead and add more water. So you can control it that way as well. So you definitely want to shake up your dye. They set some measurement guidelines for you on the instructions, and it's basically about half of a bottle to do 3 yards of cotton fabric. And this is not quite that much, so you can really play around with it. It's just so you can have an idea of how dark you want your color, or how light. And so I'm just gonna eyeball it and drizzle some in here. You know, just experiment and play around with it. Mix this up in here. I'm going to add my cup of salt to my dye bath. Move it around there just to get that salt to dissolve through. And then a little drizzle of the dish soap. And that's it. Now I'm going to dump it in and hope for the best. Here we go. Move your stuff around in here. And you can basically move it around here for about 5 minutes or so. What I'm going to do now is basically just squeeze out the excess dye right into the dye bath. So after we squeeze out the excess, I can set it aside in another container and I can just let it sit here. I'll probably let it sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. Once you've let your leggings sit for however long you want to, now we're going to take this over to a sink. First, I'm going to rinse it under the cold water. And I'm going to continue to rinse it under some cool water until the water starts to run clear, meaning all the dye has been rinsed out of my leggings. Then I'm going to remove all the rubber bands. Then what we're going to do is put it in the wash. Real simple. Just put it in your washing machine and just wash it. Then we're just going to dry it regularly. And then you end up with your finished pair of tie-dye leggings. So that's it. You saw how simple it was to take a plain old white pair of leggings that I made and turn them into a really funky pair of tie-dyed leggings. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, go ahead and hit it with that thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of my future DIY tutorials or giveaways. A big thanks to Rit for offering up the liquid dye that I used to create these leggings, and also that 6-bottle bundle that one of you lucky winners is going to walk away with. Ducks, go away, go away. So don't mind my ducks back there, but thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.